Hello, my nasties. Welcome to a video I never thought I would make because I never thought that I would become the person I am attempting to eradicate from my life. It's not as dramatic as it sounds, I promise, but let's get into it. The idea for this video and for this course of action crept into my head a few days ago when I was itching to work on a painting as I was, surprise, surprise, waiting for dinner to be ready. I swear. Some of my best ideas come in the middle of the night when I should be sleeping or when I'm starving out of my mind waiting for food. If you keep up with my vlogs or if you follow my social media, you may recall that over the summer I began kicking out cute, small 5x7 mini paintings on wood. They are mixed media, gouache, gel pen, glitter, all of the good stuff that I love on wood. The purpose of these little paintings, well, there was three reasons why I started doing it. So one, I wanted to dive back into painting after having been in and out of it for years. I missed it. It's that simple. And I needed to figure out a method of getting back into painting without the expense and the space required to purchase large wooden panels. I used to paint exclusively on wooden panels, and I remember they were heavy, they were bulky, they took up a lot of space, and this was back when I had more storage. Now I live in a one-bedroom apartment, and I don't have the space for it, right? And they're expensive, and why am I going to paint giant wooden panels that I'm not going to sell, that are simply going to be stored away, right? It's not practical. So there you go. Enter the small pieces. Number two, painting is just a great outlet for my energy. I tend to be one of those manic creatives where if I'm not doing something, I'm just not happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm not one to sit on my hands, right? I constantly have ideas all day long. I am one of those people that will not necessarily forget to eat, but I will postpone eating all day long because I have so much other stuff to do. And I love to eat, okay? So that's saying a whole lot. Now, you'll never find me forgetting to drink anything because water, tea, coffee, weird beverages, you know how I do. But anyway, yeah, it's a great outlet for my energy, and that's another reason why I wanted to do it. And not only is it a great outlet for the energy, but the process itself, I think, is almost what I enjoy more than the final product. And I find that when my mind is focused on a task, it allows me to open up the avenue for more ideas to come in, believe it or not. So even though I am focused on one thing, because I have that tunnel vision on that particular task at that particular moment, somehow it allows other ideas to percolate in. I'm not exactly sure the mechanism by which that works, but it works for me. And in the process of working, I'm also able to work out any inner cobwebs that I have, whether they be personal, private life thingies, or just creative cobwebs. It's wonderful. Painting is it's really great for me. The third reason is I just like selling cute stuff. I love creating and selling fun stuff. It's as simple as that. Despite my background in art history, I have and never will be an academic purist when it comes to art, when it comes to fashion. I create art for art's sake. I love fashion for fashion's sake. I love color, I love cute things, funky clothes, escapism, being able to earn a living by providing people with color, with cute things, with funky fashion and escapism in the form of my creations or in the form of my curation, in the form of my online boutique. It's a dream job, right? Any way you slice it, it's a dream job. Right? Right. And this is where, despite my pumping the brakes, I still managed to crash into the china cabinet and shatter every single piece of my beloved vintage glassware. No, not really. Not really. That was just a way for me to illustrate how I am feeling at the moment. It's a punch in the gut feeling that I had several days ago when I thought, wait a minute, is this my dream job? Is it in its current state my dream job? And now, before I carry on with the rest of the video, I just have to put in a quick disclaimer. I do not script my videos heavily. I do have, admittedly, a sheet on which I write down bullet notes, and then as I'm speaking, I might grab a sticky note and write down a couple more things. So if I do tend to veer off on tangents, well, buckle up because it's going to happen. But for those of you who have been here, you already know. But I will do my best to get back on track and all of that. And I don't heavily edit these videos either, so it's just going to be a ramble fest, okay? But I will do my best to make sense of the drivel. Okay, so I want to be clear. Art and creation and curation will always be my dream. It is at the core of who I am as a person, whether it be visual art, illustration, graphic design, fashion styling, and curation. And recently, I've also been dabbling into home fragrance and vintage home decor. I am always, always, always up to something creative. It is literally all I know how to do. It is who I am. It's the only way that I know how to exist. You know, some people are bakers, some people are accountants, other people are, I don't know, farmers and such. You know, insert passion here. It's just who we are and what we know and what we do. I am not in any way turning away from art or any of the creative pursuits that I have mentioned. What is changing, though, is my approach and my relationship to how all of this relates to, dun dun dun, the almighty dollar. I have never been obsessed with money. I have never been impressed by material wealth of any kind. I do live, of course, in capitalist America, however, and I do enjoy nice things and little luxuries, but I'm not talking excess by any stretch of the imagination. When I say little luxuries, I mean I enjoy having a nice dinner every now and then. I enjoy purchasing a nice designer perfume for myself. Or, you know, I like having the funds ready for me to be able to take a quick road trip somewhere. You know, I'm not talking about staying at the Ritz in Paris, right? I'm talking about just taking a nice funky little road trip out into the middle of nowhere. You know, that's what I consider to be a nice little luxury for myself. So the fact remains, I may not be obsessed with money, but I need money. And to an extent, yeah, I enjoy having it because I enjoy the perfume. I enjoy the road trip, right? But I do need it also, all of those things aside, I need it to survive. I need money to be comfortable. We all do. It's just a fact of life, and particularly here in the West, and especially living in California where I currently reside. But as of this moment, and I think the thoughts have been kind of circulating and orbiting around my head for quite a while now, but I was never able to pinpoint exactly what the purpose of these thoughts were. And then they finally they came together and they congealed into this thought bubble a few days ago. And it made me realize that without even intending to, without realizing that it's happened over the course of the previous few years, I have become an unfortunate slave to the almighty dollar because of two things: my lifestyle and my choosing to remain in California. Now, when I say my lifestyle, I am referring to, you know, again, it's not my lifestyle. It's not my living in an extravagant mini mansion, driving a Maserati. That is not what I'm referring to when I say my quote unquote lifestyle. What I mean by my lifestyle is my decision to live life entirely on my terms. Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me how to live. Nobody tells me how to spend my money. I don't report to anybody but me, right? I left 9-to-5 life behind ages ago. I have not taken the marry and have kids route. I mean, among other things, I am single. I have no roommates. I am a full-time self-sufficient, single artist. It's a tough way to live. It truly is. Now, it's tough anywhere, right? But try that in California. This is not the only expensive state to live in, right? There's New York is also notoriously expensive, right? But I live in Southern California specifically. This lifestyle here is not for the weak, and it's tough. And so some of you might be thinking, well, how the hell can you manage it? And it's because I live my life very differently than other people, and I will discuss that a little further in the video. But back on track here, we are all well aware of how the grand clusterfuck of 2020 through 2022, the pandemic, has affected the world. And if you are in the US, you are very well aware of how it and our lovely, gracious, warm, loving, beautiful capitalist government has systemically destroyed the cost of living for many. Well, I hope that you are aware, right? Because I will not be diving into inflation and the Fed and the 1% and all of that blah, 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 blah here. Absolutely not. I've never done it. I will not now. I have no desire to eat the rich, but also it's a whole nother topic which I'm not going to discuss in this video. The point is, the US is screwed and it is digging itself into a bigger hole. And to be completely honest, I was not aware of just how difficult life has been for most people because I exist in a world of my own design. I, for the entirety of my adult life, have worked very, very hard to be able to create a comfortable little bubble for myself. Nothing comes in, nothing comes out. I'm insular. It's just me, myself, and I, blissfully unaware of everything outside of my little bubble, right? It's my freak show. It's a one-woman freak show. I run it. I do what I want. That's my life, okay? As I mentioned earlier, I have never fancied the latest and greatest anything. Excuse me for a moment, taking a sip of my iced tea here. Okay, my apartment is not state of the art. It is charming. It's old. I have a beautiful view, but I don't have a dishwasher, an ice maker, or any of that. I don't even have a microwave, to be honest. I don't need one. I don't drive a fancy new Audi. I say Audi specifically because I currently reside in Palm Springs, California, and I swear everybody here drives an Audi or what are those expensive little SUVs? Land Rovers? Range Rovers. What are they? Those Rover things, those Jeeps for rich people, basically. I do not purchase a new cell phone every year. Hell, I don't even have a TV. I told you I don't have a microwave, right? All of the simple things that most people think are normal, I live without. And as I said earlier, some people might be wondering, how the hell can you afford to live in California? Well, this is how. Because I've never wanted these things. I've never felt a lack for not having these things. So because I can do without all of these quote unquote normal things, I've been able to make it for as long as I have in California, having the lifestyle that I have. The point is, I live in a bubble that falls far below the financial need of most other people. Again, I do enjoy a fancy cocktail, a nice dinner every now and then, but I have no vices. I have no mouths to feed, no one to support but myself. Because of this and my relatively antisocial nature, one could argue that I have a tendency to be out of touch. And I will admit that, for the rest of the world, I'm, again, living in La La Land, right? I'm living in the Karla bubble and I'm out of touch. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the world. I do check in every once in a while to see what's going on, but I'm of the personality type where if I consume too much negative energy, or rather too much negativity, too much negative news, somehow that energy, I can feel that, right? And I'm not a woo-woo individual, but the older I become, every passing year, I'm beginning to think that I am sensitive to just bad energy, and I hate it. And it's beginning to affect me. And again, that's one reason why I live in a bubble, because if I don't let all this negative shit in, I feel better. It's good to be aware of what's going on in the world, but to an extent. I need to know what's going on outside my door, but then that's it. It's like, okay, tell me what's going on in 2 seconds, and then after that, I don't want to hear about it for a week, right? It's too much for me. In recent weeks, I mean, probably months, to be honest, that seems more plausible. The harsh reality of the world beyond my bubble has been becoming more apparent. While out at the grocery store recently, the eggs that I typically purchase were sold out, completely sold out. And there was one brand, only one brand available on the shelves, which was quadruple. I'm not even exaggerating. It was quadruple, at least, the price of the eggs that I usually purchase. Now, I shrugged. I did one of those, ew, these are expensive, right? Kind of situations. But I grabbed the carton and walked away, mildly annoyed, but I was not eggless. I got my eggs and I just kept it moving. A woman approached just as I was walking away, and she was also searching for eggs, and she had a child in her cart. She was visibly irate at the price, and as she mumbled something under her breath, I couldn't really hear, but she moved on, eggless. Did she go to another store to purchase the eggs? I don't know. She probably did, because there's other grocery stores out there that you can shop at, right? But the point is, a goddamn carton of eggs anywhere, unless you're at a hoity-toity grocery store, which I was not at, but a freaking carton of eggs should not have the power to run, or rather to ruin, someone's shopping trip. Because of my unconventional, quote-unquote, abnormal lifestyle, I can go ahead and buy a stupidly priced carton of eggs. Do I like it? No. But can I do it? Sure. It's not going to ruin my entire grocery budget. Other people, other normal people, do not have this luxury. I am uniquely privileged in this way, but let's not get it twisted. There are other areas in my life that are made extraordinarily difficult because of the way that I live, but we're not going to get into that today, because today we're focusing on the money talk. But all of that to say, that's unacceptable, right? That a carton of eggs, a gallon of milk, or whatever it is, can have the power to destroy somebody's entire budget. And especially where I live. To be fair, I live in a city, it's a small city, that is rather affluent. Not everybody here is wealthy. I certainly am not. But it is not a large city. It is not, Los Angeles. It is not San Diego, where there's a huge population of impoverished folks, homeless folks, and the like. It's very much lower middle class to super, super high hoity-toity here. And so the fact that regular middle class people, lower middle class, cannot afford groceries, that is scary, and that is eye-opening to me. It opened my eyes. I stepped out of my bubble to go get groceries, and that's what I was met with. And it was a slap in the face, really. It was just like, whoa, it was a complete shock to my system, to my insular system, to see that. This encounter stayed with me. I started to realize that damn near everyone that I am acquainted with, who is not wealthy, mind you, is struggling. Never mind the people that I know who are in the hospitality industry. I mean, my acquaintances who are bartenders, waitresses, waiters, all of those people, were it not for tips, nearly every single one of them would be in serious trouble. And all of them, well, most, have roommates, not just one, 2+ roommates, right? They need to have multiple roommates simply to pay the exorbitant rent here. For context, the average price of an apartment in Southern California, it fluctuates a bit from $2,500 to $3,000. Now, you can find a studio apartment for around $1,800 plus, but think about that for a second. A studio apartment, not even a single bedroom, it's a studio. One room, one whole room for your living space. $1,800 plus. I started doing some digging at other states. Yeah. They're not super cheap everywhere, but definitely $1,800 is that's a bit much, to say the least. Yet here I am, carrying on in my blissfully ignorant, ancient, cute but ancient, 1-bedroom apartment with my $5 carton of eggs. I joke that Palm Springs is a city that's comprised of two different groups of people, those who serve and those who are served. And it's a great little fishbowl of what is happening in this country. Now, again, I'm in a unique situation because I am neither the one being served nor am I the one serving, because I am an artist and my income all comes from online from all over the world. I'm not just an illustrator, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a this, I'm a that. I have multiple streams of income. But that's how it is. It's either the haves or the have-nots. So I have decided to try a little experiment for a few months. One season, 3 months or so, possibly 6 months even. No more, no less. It's just going to be a little, for funsies, experiment. I'm going to pay myself minimum wage. Whoa, 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 I know. Everyone out there is clutching their pearls, thinking I am absolutely insane. Now, let me explain what I mean by this, okay? Because I know it sounds crazy on the surface, but don't be reactionary. Let me explain. I am 110% a full-time artist, and I have multiple sources of income. I do not rely only on my illustration, okay? My artwork alone does not pay all of my bills and living expenses. I repeat, my artwork alone does not pay all of my bills and living expenses, okay? It never has. Hopefully one day, maybe it will, right? But currently, no, it just has not. But as an artist, in these difficult times, I want to put myself in a position where I can continue to produce art, to sell art, and to continue inspiring others with my work. I am not for the rich. I am not for the wealthy. I am for the everyday weirdo who enjoys filling their life with color, with joy, with funkiness, with cool stuff. Especially these days, right? When color and joy are desperately needed. I want my art to be accessible to everyone. So for at least the next 3, possibly 6 months, very little of my work will be priced over $75. I will be paying myself minimum wage, and to explain what that even means, remember those mini paintings that I discussed earlier? Well, I will be producing more. And there's a catch. I will be limiting the time I spend creating them to about 3 to 4 hours each. So they will have a 4-hour cap. How did I come to this kooky idea, to this kooky number? Well, minimum wage in California will be $16 beginning in January of 2024. At least that's what I understand from what I've read. Selling these little paintings from anywhere from around, 50-ish to 65-ish dollars or so, 3 to 4 hours of work, translates roughly to minimum wage. Will I be working on larger, more complex works in the background? Sure, possibly. I would love to, actually. But at the forefront will be an ever-growing collection of mini paintings and paint sketches. Actual original artwork on wood that is accessible to everyone who wishes to own a piece of my art or to start their collection. This is especially important now with AI coming along and bombarding everybody's senses with AI art that is just cold and identical to everyone else's, right? I want to offer just that little piece of, hey, times are tough, everybody's fake, everybody's producing fake artwork, but there are still some artists out there who are doing their thing, their imperfect thing, selling funky, cool stuff, handmade stuff, and you know what? I can still afford it, right? I want to be able to provide that to people. But Karla, you're devaluing your art. Someone out there might be thinking, am I though? I never said that I was going to be painting 10 by 10 canvases and selling those for $15. No, these are small, manageable pieces with a time limit. I'm not offering to paint a mural on the side of a skyscraper for $25. That's not what I'm doing at all. I will be producing and selling small works and sketches, And these small works and sketches are going to represent a pivotal experimental moment of my life as an artist. So even though they're small and cute and on the surface they may be inconsequential, they're actually going to be quite important to me as an artist. What do I hope to gain from this? Aside from, obviously, producing cute stuff to sell, it certainly won't be wealth. I'm not looking to become wealthy from this. But aside from earning a few bucks, sure, because I am going to be earning a few bucks, honestly, let's keep it real. I'm not doing this for free. I will also be gaining the satisfaction of knowing that my work can not only reach more people, but it's going to be an exercise in creative growth. Creative growth in terms of speed, because speed is something that I have always struggled with when it comes to painting. I've always been a slow painter to the detriment of my work, I think. I gravitate towards artwork that is messy, that is abstract, that is dynamic, that is expressive. All of the artwork that people walk into a museum and say, ugh, that's so simple. Ugh, that's so messy. I could do that. I mean, they say that because they're ignorant and they have no idea, but you can't blame them. But that is what I gravitate towards, right? The messy, expressive, funky artwork. This is why my watercolor and ink work looks the way that it does. I like a lot of bleeding, a lot of splatter, a lot of imperfection. But I find that with paint in particular, sometimes I blend a little bit too much, or I end up correcting too many mistakes too many times, and all of this agonizing kills my mojo. I hate it. I think it's just an ingrained feeling that because I'm working with paint, I have to make it look a little bit more polished, which is frankly bullshit, and I need to stop that. I've gotten better through the years, but I need to get better. I need to continue improving that mentality. Work smarter, not harder, as they say. Becoming a faster, more expressive painter is my creative goal out of all of this. Reaching more people with my art is my personal goal. So the whole purpose of this little minimum wage thing is twofold. Make sense? I hope so. Whew, this was a conversation, wasn't it? I mean, indeed, I'm excited for this little experiment. And, if I got a little chit-chatty, we got a little chit-chatty, and that's okay. In the end, realizing how harsh the world has become and is becoming may lead me down an unexpected and new path that I never would have considered. I mean, who knows what's going to happen after this, right? Will I be inspired to pick up and move to another state? Will I be inspired to, I don't know, move to an artistic compound somewhere? Guys, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Am I thinking too much into this? Am I making it more deep than it needs to be? That's also a possibility. I don't know. And that's part of the beauty of this. The I don't know of it is part of the beauty. Because done are my days of overanalyzing, overworking, and concerning myself with fighting to ensure my place in this god-awfully expensive and ridiculously unfair state of living, and in this state, frankly. Gone are the days of my playing the earn to survive, not to live game. It's a sick game out there, guys, and it's especially sick here in the West, and I'm not interested anymore. I'm just not interested. I left the rat race for a reason, right? Why would I ever want to go back to it? Now, when I say that done are my days of overworking, that does not mean that I'm going to loaf around. You guys know, if you've been on my channel, I'm not one to sit around and be lazy. Absolutely not. I wake up working, I go to sleep working. It's a part of who I am. But what I mean is overworking for the wrong reasons, right? If I feel that life is becoming overwhelming to the point where I can no longer afford a carton of eggs, I'm not going to push myself to create for the sake of purchasing eggs. No, I'm going to pack my bags and get the hell out of here. I'll move somewhere else. I'll move to the middle of, I don't know, some cornfield in Iowa. Start a new chapter, right? Oh, my heart will always be in the desert. Don't get that one twisted. But that's just the state that I'm in right now. And I suppose some of you out there who are a little bit more esoteric, mystical, woo-woo, some of you might be thinking, oh, she's finally understanding what detachment means, right? And I think I am. I'm finding myself becoming increasingly affected by negative energy. And that's why I think I'm leaning towards that idea of detachment. I know what I want and I know what I'm going after. But also, it's not going to ruin my life if I don't get it, right? This negative energy has been affected me so much more that within the course of 2 years, I know that I have become more insular than I have ever been. Having neighbors who are constantly unhappy and expressing that discontent with life is becoming more of a burden for me. I used to joke that my ultimate dream would be to live in a disco vampire fortress deep in the desert. And perhaps that dream isn't a joke, right? Perhaps my learning to detach from the rat race, to detach from everything that I cannot control, will somehow lead me to that isolated home somewhere in the desert or somewhere in the middle of a cornfield, right? Perhaps not even in California. Like I said, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. I love the desert, honestly. So even if I have to leave this one, I'm going to go to another one, right? I'm not saying that I'm going to go anywhere. I'm just saying that I'm no longer feeling unnecessarily attached to things. It's that detachment. I've had lofty goals my entire life. Some of them I have achieved, other ones I have not. But what I have found is that because I've become so attached to certain goals, even though I achieve them, I don't achieve them in the way that I want, and I'm still disappointed. So even though I reach that goal, I'm still disappointed. See, and that's where the detachment comes in. If I set a goal for myself, I need to accept it however it comes. Because somehow I'm creating my own negativity when I don't, right? Do you see the sick cycle that I'm in right now? And that cycle is being made worse, being surrounded by similar negative energy. And I need to nip it in the bud before it gets worse. So there you go. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I hope this did not come across as a negative video, because I'm not feeling negative right now. I'm just kind of feeling a bit, not numb, but I'm feeling open to new perspectives and new ideas. So not negative, not necessarily overwhelmingly positive, but it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. This is not a downer of a video in any way. So here's to a creative and eye-opening new year. If anyone out there is feeling out of sorts a little bit, yeah, I think it's many of us, especially us very sensitive creatives. I think we're feeling it a lot. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, in order for things to change, we have to have our periods of solemnity, of introspection. Yeah, change is never easy, and if it is, it's probably not a good change. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this extraordinarily long video. I enjoyed chatting with you and letting you in a little bit into my brain. I know I don't do this too often. Surprise, surprise. But thank you for being here. Everything you need to know will always be down below. Visit my website for any available artwork. I hope you are looking forward to seeing the new artwork that I whip up, possibly picking some up for yourself. And that's going to do it. So be bad, be good. I don't give a damn which. Just make sure you come back in one piece, and I will see you in the next one.